Hi, welcome to a foreigner in the Philippines. We're having quite a bit of a problem with PayPal at the moment. Seems to be a common thing, much more common than you might think, because PayPal is a very big international company. They're handling billions of dollars a day, probably, for all I know. Now, what's happening is that we couldn't withdraw more than their limit, which was $1,000, but we wanted to change that limit, so we went online, we made phone calls, and we told them we need to increase the limit. That's what we would have told them, but we couldn't log in because they had an old phone number, despite being told many times that we now live in the Philippines. So we were not able to transfer that money to my bank account, because they decided they needed to verify me. Now that never happened, so in all of the mix-up we actually had to open a Philippine-based PayPal account, even though I'd prefer to have forgotten the whole thing. Give me my money and we'll forget the whole thing. We'll go on Remitly or Western Union or one of the other many different companies that will take your money and transfer it to another country. So what it just reminded me of is the way that you have to approach being told, no, we can't help. Now, what quickly becomes obvious when you start to deal with any company is that often it's not the quality of the company, but the quality of the skill level of the person that you're dealing with. So, how do you cope with this? Well, you have to gain the skill of recognizing whether that person is going to be able to help you. And if they're not, what do you do? Well, in the past, when I tried to deal with Wells Fargo, lost my card got chewed up and it wouldn't work anymore. So here I am in the Philippines trying to explain to this woman, no ma'am, I'm on a street in the Philippines and I have no money and I can't get my money. Why can't you get me a card? Well, the woman just wasn't able to make a judgment call that would enable me to get my money. I had money, it was all in the account. I couldn't get it. She actually said, don't you have any friends that you could borrow money from? Trying to explain, ma'am, I have money, but you're holding it and I can't get it. Now, I had steam coming out of my ears in the end, and I wasn't very nice at the end of that call. So what should I have done? Well, what I should have done is I should have realized that with all of these companies now, Wells Fargo, any bank, anyone that has a customer service which is online. Now, if you talk to someone who is representing a company, they may or may not be in the country that you are based in. So you may be American, you may be British, you may be German, you may be anything, but what you are talking to is not a national of your country. Is there just one? When you speak, if you want to speak to someone in Wells Fargo, is there only one Wells Fargo customer service? No, there's not. So this is really what you should do. And I learned this lesson from someone who I worked for years and years ago in California. I worked for this guy and he taught me the value of being able to stop what you're doing and start again as if it's a totally new moment in time, which it is, of course. His mother had Alzheimer's and couldn't remember what she was doing from 1 minute to the next. So he would go in and say, Mom, time to put your pajamas on now because you're going to bed. And then he'd leave. Now he'd come back 2 minutes later and she was fully dressed. Even though she started putting her pajamas on when he was leaving. Now, his brother couldn't handle this. His brother used to go crazy and say, "Mom, you should be putting your pajamas on. You know, you're not supposed to be getting undressed or getting dressed." She was doing the wrong thing. What the man that I worked for said he realized was that she was in a different unit of time at any given moment. Time was not running consecutively for her. So what he did was, if she was in the wrong moment, he would simply go in, start the new moment. "Hi, Mom, come on, get your pajamas on." And then he would help her into pajamas. Now, if he went out and came back and she didn't have her pajamas on, he would say, "Hi, Mom, time to get your pajamas on." And that would work, because it was a new moment, a new unit of time, a new minute, and everything was fresh. Now, what I've been able to use this piece, a valuable lesson I thought, is when I've called a company and I've asked to get some help, and the person has said, "I'm sorry, no, we can't do that," I say, "Thank you very much," and I put the phone down. And then I pick the phone up immediately and I call them back. And somebody else answers the phone and they say, "No, I'm sorry, can't possibly help you on that." I say, "Thank you very much," and I put the phone down. And then I pick the phone up again and I call them back. And eventually someone will answer the phone who wants to help. And then they will be in your new unit of time, your new moment. They will be occupying the same moment as you want them to occupy. And that's what you're looking for. You're not looking to win an argument with anybody that's in customer service and tell them, "Wait a minute, you should be helping me." No, you're not looking for that. You're looking for the help that you want. You're looking for that piece of action which will suit you the most. And that is how you can do it. You approach it as if it's a totally new moment. Put the phone down. Don't argue with that person who's being a jackass. It's not your problem. They're not your friend. They're not coming to dinner tonight. Then you're not going to see them next week. This is what you must do. You must keep in the moment. I know that that's a very esoteric or spiritual, a Zen thing. Stay in the moment. But it happens to be true. In this case in particular, you have a problem. The company is a big problem. You might be speaking to one person one moment who's in Bangladesh, talking from her living room with children playing in the background, who knows your social security number. And the next moment, you might be talking to someone who is, I don't know, in Pakistan, or it could be in India, they could be in Africa, they could be almost anywhere, they could be in China. It's up to you to realize that every time you call, the chances of you finding the same person are infinitesimal. Here's a good example. If you've called someone and then at the last moment when they are about to go enter to solve your problem, the phone goes dead if you're on a cell phone. Now, you know that you were talking to Gladys. So you call back straight away, "Can I speak to Gladys?" "No, I'm sorry, sir, what is the problem that you have?" "Well, Gladys knows all about it because she was about to make it all good. If I could just speak to Gladys, it will be no problem. It'll be very, very quick because she's already done the groundwork." "No, I'm sorry, sir. What is the problem again?" You're back to the beginning. Now, just use that piece of information when you think about, well, if I call back straight away, it'll be the same person who answers the phone. No, it won't. It will be somebody else. And by using that piece of information, when you have found obstruction, eventually someone will like something about the way that you talk, about something in your voice, about your accent. If, I don't know, I'm British, I might call somebody in Bangladesh and they were educated in Manchester, which is where I was born. Who knows? There'll be something that will help you to connect and that will get your problem solved. Now, can I put this into practice? Well, I'm going to try. PayPal are not getting back to us, and they have a great deal of money of ours. We've got people to pay. We've got workers who are working and expect to be paid. Where will we get the money? Well, we have the money, we just can't quite put our hand on it. So, I'm going to go off now and enjoy a new moment in time, and I hope that you'll do the same. And I hope that what you've heard today makes some sense to you. Keep calm, put the phone down, don't blow off steam, and then call back. It can be as simple as that. You call back and remember that the person that you're talking to is just doing a job. They don't love you. They don't want to come to dinner tonight. They don't give too much of a damn about the trouble that you're in as a result of their company. Because actually it's not their company. They're probably getting $8 an hour. And if they're in Bangladesh, they're getting a lot less than that. Okay? So don't expect them to be so completely absorbed in your problem. They're not going to. And the moment that you turn a little bit nasty is the moment that you lost them. I remember a friend of mine who worked at the airport. She said that there was one guy in the lost luggage who they all thought he was a little bit satanic because he had black makeup on in certain places, and he was a little bit odd, you know, and a little bit sinister. But he had a wonderful way of dealing with people who turned nasty. He was in lost luggage, and whoever came in and said, "What the hell kind of company do you work for?" And start giving him a hard time. And he would listen to what they said. And when they'd finished, he would say, "Sir, there is one thing that is between you and your luggage. Me. Now, are you going to be nice? And are we going to get the job done?" I hope so. And it always worked. So, you're not on that end of the stick, but you've got to go in and you've got to make that person your friend. If you don't get them on your side, then you are not going to get the result that you want. So, be nice, be in a new moment. If it doesn't work out, hang up, call back again. It's all in how you respond to that situation. So, I hope that helps. This is a foreigner in the Philippines.
Please like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Did you
God
see my
bless.
lips move?
Bye-bye.